Okay, students, I'm going to look at November 2019, question 3. And the reason for this is part of your scope for your internal exam coming up. And when they refer to file management, this is what you need to be able to do. Okay, so they're going to talk about a file structure in the computer practice in 5 folder, which is now, in my case, my exam folder. Okay, as you can see there to the left. Now, let's talk about some of these words. Let's look at the word move first. Okay, if in your question about file management or file structure, they talk about move, it means that you need to cut it. Okay, when you ask somebody to move from your seat or move their car, you don't want it to be there when you come out of your office. It needs to be moved. In other words, in computer practice, when we talk about moving a folder or moving a file or moving a paragraph, we talk about cutting it and replacing it in another position. Okay, so in this case, they are asking you to move the folders wrestling and weight to the South African Wrestling Federation. Okay, now first you had to create the folder South African Wrestling. So I've already created this. How do you create a folder? You're going to go into your exam folder. You're going to right click and you're going to say new. And you're going to say folder. Okay, I'm just going to keep it as new folder so that you can see this is how you do it. Okay. When you obviously have to rename that, you're going to right click on it and say rename and then rename it to whatever they are asking you. Okay. Then they are asking you to move the folders wrestling and weight to the South African Wrestling Federation's folder. Now you will see that at that instance, the wrestling and the weight folders was in another subfolder. Okay, for the sake of this specific one. Okay, so remember now, folders are the ones you view here as the yellow little icons, whereas your files appear as this. Okay, so inside the new folder, inside the South African Wrestling Federation, there's a subfolder called rename, which have these files within them. Okay, so make sure you understand the difference between folders and files. Now, when you move a folder, you literally have to go, and I'm just going to use these two as an example, both. You press in, you hold in your control so that you can select both, or you can do it one by one. You right click and you cut, and you go and you paste it to wherever they are asking you to paste it. Okay, then the next one is to rename the file Commonwealth to Commonwealth Games in the wrestling folder. Okay, so within the wrestling folder, there was a file. I've deleted it to show the student something. So I'm just going to create a new Word file. It says there, rename the file Commonwealth to Commonwealth Games. Okay, so let's say there was the Commonwealth, and I have to now rename it to Commonwealth Games. I'm going to right click, I'm going to say rename, and I'm going to rename it as Games. Okay, Commonwealth Games. Then the same is going to go for renaming the file. So I'm not going to waste time in that. That goes for the same options that you're going to use. Then when at 3.5, they're asking you to create a file. That goes for Excel, a text file, a PowerPoint file. Those are all files. Remember, it's applications, so it's programs, so it's files. You always right click with wherever they are asking you. In this case, they are asking you to create it in the South African Youth Championships or champion events. Okay, right click and say new, and there you will see all the actual program files that you can give. the Microsoft bitmap image, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Publisher, a text document, a Microsoft Excel. In this case, they've asked for a Microsoft Excel. I actually just said Excel, thereby 3.1.5, and you can say South African Youth Championships. Okay. Championship, and then press enter to make sure that it is being renamed or created. Okay, then let's quickly look at the subfolder. Subfolder is what you see here. Within the South African Wrestling Federation folder, there is 3 subfolders. So it's basically just going into the folder and creating a new folder. There's not an option of a subfolder. A folder within a big folder becomes a subfolder. Okay, then we are talking about contents and sorting contents in according to name, etc. Okay, now I'm gonna just quickly show you. This is very important, otherwise you're not gonna see what you need to see. In that opening here, in the screen that you see here on your left-hand side, you've got 4 tabs in your ribbon: File, Home, Share, and View. You're going to choose the view option when you want to see file name extensions, hidden items, sorting by, or how it needs to display. Sometimes they ask you to display the current folder to extra large. Then this is what they want to see. Okay, or medium icons or lists. Then you will see here by 3.8, before I go to 3.1.7, just have a look here, display the contents of the wrestling folder. Okay, so this is what they want. They want the wrestling folder and they want the content. So if you don't see all of them, just click on that little arrow to see content. Do you see there's the option content? Choose that. There's details, there's content, there's styles. This is the way in which it's being displayed. So if they ask for content, choose content, okay? But before that, they actually set or ask to sort the contents in descending order according to name. So you're going to say sort by name, descending. So you'll actually have to choose the descending option there. If it was ascending, you would have chosen ascending. And then look at 3.1.8 because this is very important. They say display the contents of the wrestling folder and make a screen print of these commands. Okay, so this is what they want a screenshot of. Okay, you're not going to make a print screen after 3.1, after 3.2, after 3.4, because within this, they will see if you have done all the others above. So after 3.1, you are going to create this whole thing as a print screen. Okay. So the commands from 3.1.1 up until 3.1.8 is going to be on here. So you're going to do a print screen. And if you can't remember how I do it, please let me know. I'll send you a little video as well. Make sure everything is in there that you need to do. Okay. Once you've released that, you will see that it will actually be able to be pasted in this. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to go down here. So you can now go into this and you're going to say either just paste it or you're going to press Control V. Now this part is very important. Okay. When they ask for you here in the exam that you need to insert the examination number left and the question number right as a header, then it's important that you do that. Okay. So if they ask you for your exam number or your ID to be on that side, you need to use your tab to get to the other side. Then it's important to say your question 3.1 because this is 3.1. And then make sure, okay, you print this. If you are, if I'm your going to be your examiner or your marker, you have to then say file, print, but then you're going to print to the PDF. And then print only this for me, not print, but save it. And you're going to say question 3.1. Okay, and you're going to save it. And then once you're done with this, you can either go to File New, which is probably the best option, okay? And then do the next one so that your headers doesn't go confused. So you're going to do Exam, and you're going to go and do, so you're going to have your new option, and you're going to say Exam, and then you're going to say question 3.2, and you're going to make sure that your print screen is done correctly on that side. Okay, going back to the contents, I just quickly want to show you one last thing. If you can just quickly have a look here. So just make sure you understand the difference between what you need to be able to see, if it's content, if it's details. Maybe they're asking you to change the file extensions. Then you must be able to see, okay, I want to see it. Those are the file extension. It's what, just by looking at the .xlx or the .docx, I know it is an Excel file or a Word file. Okay, just look at options. It just gives you that option as well to change folder and search options. But let's say they are asking you to actually change this file extension to something else. Okay, you'll have to right click, you'll have to go to properties, and you need to say you want to change that. Okay, so you're literally going to go into it, into properties, and you are going to see that you change that into whatever they ask you to for it to be changed. Okay, so make sure that you do understand how to do that. So change it. Let's say I'm going to change it into txt. I say change. Okay, they say that's fine, and say okay. If you change, you say yes, it's fine, and you see it's changed it now to txt. That is very important that you know how to do that, to change an extension. Okay, so you can actually click that. And if I ask you to print the file extensions, it's also important that you do click that so that I can see that you know what a file extension is. Okay, so the file extension is whatever comes after the full stop, and it's referring to the type of file that we're working with. Okay, and then they can also sometimes ask you to show what is the RAM or maybe the processor used on the computer. Then you just go to your search button. Sometimes yours is going to be over here, and you type in control panel until you see the control panel option. Okay, just want to make sure that it's actually sharing the correct screen. Okay, so this is what you need to see in front of you. Then you need to now see what are they looking for? Are they looking for networks? No. Are they looking for the user accounts? No, they are looking for the system. Okay, and inside the system you will see the display, the system settings. What is the device specifications? So you'll have to make sure that it is displayed in such a way that you can see the processor. Okay, and also if they want the RAM, there's the RAM. So you're going to make a little screenshot of this for them. This is all they want to see. And you're going to go back into your Word, and you are going to share that with me or with your examination. And you're going to make sure that it says there 3 point whatever that is, or 2.1, whatever question that is. So that is what they are asking you to do. Okay, so this is file management, and this is how you do it. So make sure that you do understand how to do this by looking at your question paper that I shared with you. There's more. See that you can do all of these. Okay, so when they talk about here by 3.1, they're talking about changing the attribute of the Commonwealth Games file in the folder to a read only. Then you're going to do exactly the same as we were talking about on the properties. Okay, so let me just make sure you can see my screen. Okay, so once you're in here, You can either go to right click, you can right click on that. You can go to either open with and choose the program that they want, or you can say properties, and then you can actually change it to a read only, or you can change it into hidden. That is where you change the attribute of a file. Okay, if there's anything else that you're not supposed, or that you're not supposed to know, that you're supposed to know, you don't know, please make sure that you can do all of those things. Okay.